Hello there guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. So The Rise of Skywalker has been out worldwide for a few days now, so I thought I'd do a spoiler-free review on the film. And guys, as it is spoiler-free, please do not post any spoilers in the comments, otherwise you will be banned. I will be doing a spoiler review in a couple of weeks' time as well. When I get back from my holiday, I will go and do a spoiler review, which will be a bit more in-depth. This is going to be a pretty quick one. So, The Rise of Skywalker has actually been one of my most anticipated films in recent years. Obviously, with it being the end of the saga and the end of the sequel trilogy, I really felt there's a lot that needs to be told, especially after The Last Jedi. There was so much that I wanted answers to, so many questions that I had, and I thought it couldn't really possibly be done in just one film, so I was really intrigued as to see how they would go about that. I think it's safe to say that I was pretty satisfied. Whilst I got answers to so many of my questions, the film didn't answer a few of my bigger ones and left me with even more, honestly. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it would have been nice if we had a few answers to some bigger ones in particular that I'm thinking of, which I'll probably go in more in-depth in the spoiler review in a few weeks' time. For me, it was certainly a satisfying end to the Skywalker saga. However, I really do feel as though that we can get more stories with these characters in the future, and that is certainly something I'd like to see. Kathleen Kennedy has stated several times, more recently a couple weeks ago, and also before The Last Jedi came out, that they were looking into how they can get these current characters into more stories, and that in the future they do have the potential to come and do so. Whether that's going to be in a TV show, a film, multiple films, who knows, but they do have the potential to come back, which I'd really like to see. Daisy Ridley and Oscar Isaac have said that they're pretty much done, really, to be fair, and John Boyega has said that he'd come back if they'd come back, basically, so I think it's kind of unlikely we'll see them, but we'll just have to wait and see what the future holds. Throughout the movie, you just have so much going on. There really is a lot to take in and understand, which I actually really liked. However, the first half of the movie felt it was a very fast pace, which kind of made things seem a little bit rushed. I personally feel as though the film should have at least been around 3 hours to give it that time to really flow at the beginning and not rush through things. That being said, the pacing improved throughout the second half of the film, which really allowed things to develop properly and to really take shape. So that's a good thing. I just think it should have been a little bit longer to give that initial half just some more breathing room, because a lot happens in that time, which I personally loved where the story was going with it, but if it had a bit more time, it could really develop things a bit more, and that really is my main criticism. The character development in the movie, especially for characters like Finn, Poe, Kylo Ren, were fantastic, honestly. In The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, both Finn and Poe, they have important roles, but in this film we see them together with Rey, you know, and going on an adventure, and that's the first time we see this, you know. So I felt like that worked really well, and we're so used to them being apart, so it was really, you know, going on a group adventure was just so much fun, and very interesting to see the relationship between Poe and Rey as well, because of course we've never really seen them together properly until the end of The Last Jedi, so to see that dynamic was really interesting. The music in Star Wars is obviously always of great importance, and once again John Williams knocks it out the park. I absolutely adored the soundtrack for this film, and honestly it's probably one of my favourites in the Star Wars universe right now. I need to go and see it again though, just to kind of give it more time to sink in, but I absolutely loved it. The music really helped set the tone in all the scenes, and of course was just a joy to listen to as it accompanied the visuals. The fight scenes as well were by far the best within the trilogy. Whether it was a lightsaber fight, a ship battle, or something on the ground, I was always keen to see more of these battles, and I felt like they really helped shape the progress in the movie. Of course, in The Force Awakens, we get a tiny bit of ship combat, we get a little bit of ground to ship, obviously with Takodana. The Last Jedi, we get a tiny bit of space battle at the beginning, and then we get a pretty epic ground sort of battle. But it wasn't particularly very big, you know, it was just a bunch of walkers and ski speeders and stuff like that. You don't really get that sense of large scale, whereas obviously in The Rise of Skywalker we have that, we all know from the trailers that we see these tons of ships and a ton of Star Destroyers and Finn on these like horse things running along it, and it's just incredible. It's like that sense of scale was immense, and that sort of fight scene is something I really enjoyed, and having that in the sequel trilogy worked really nicely actually, and it really helps, as I say, progress the movie even further. Throughout the entire film, I found myself wanting to laugh, cry, or just smile at the epic end to the Skywalker saga. I'm very keen to go and see it again, honestly, and by the time this video goes live, I would have seen it twice. I'm hoping to go a third time, maybe even a fourth time within the next few weeks. overall, I'd give The Rise of Skywalker a solid 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed the movie and answered a ton of my questions, but for me what lets it down almost is the fact that it didn't answer some of the questions which I felt were pretty important details, and the fact that the first hour almost rushed through things a little bit, where it just needed more breathing room really, so it was a shame for that. Nonetheless, I'm incredibly happy with the end of this fantastic saga, and I cannot wait to see where Star Wars goes after this. That's it from me today though, guys. Let me know what your spoiler-free review is in the comments. Thank you all very much for watching, and may the Force be with you always.